You know, guys, I am so badly afflicted right now. Perpetual witchcraft. Like, people keep on piling on me, one on top of the other, on top of the other. Because I am outspoken, and every so often they go into my social medias and hear me speaking, and because that's the thing. The reason why is because I know how to piece together my sentences, and influencer. If online or bear together, and I'm like, hey guys, family cousin they would have just been like, whatever, nobody's gonna listen to her anyway. But because I'm so influential and I'm so smart, and because I am coming from somewhere, and because it doesn't make sense for a woman like me to be in this position, all over the show, but insult to injury, insult to injury, insult to injury, as if though I can afford to take more. I am already so exasperated. An existing amount of sorcery that I'm having to make war with, and yet since if Oko Trinidad and Tobago, I don't care if you're in Jamaica, neither the United States of America. I do not care if you are in Australia or Norway. If you are not in South Africa, I can't deal with you unless international laws decide to come together and do something about international sorcery. I'm out here trying to deal with the principalities of freaking South Africa. If I can conquer the rubbish maybe I can create sufficient enough precedent for an entire global population to see if they can't do something about ubiquitous, rancid, lackluster, flying around all over the show witches that get to like literally outwork the wildest of their dreams and desires any way that they want, with no ramifications at all, with no consequences at all. Literally, they are by far the biggest drug cartel in the world that is, however, without any law and order enforcing it. They are like a criminal syndicate that nobody is regulating, and that needs to stop somewhere. It needs to stop. Like I can't say this enough. If I don't go home in the rapture, there needs to be some kind of an intervention, and of course it has to start spiritually, but to regulate witchcraft, because it literally decimates people's lives. I am an intelligent woman with a whole thriving ability to be someone in this world. And South Africa only, they are international, but like I said, before walker. So I gotta first deal with the nonsense in this country before I can even deal with the ubiquitously across the world this thing is happening. But you know what? I'm being naive. Of course I am. For me to think that I can somehow motion a global mission to rescue the world from witches, I can't do that. Christ is the one that is going to ultimately, upon his millennial reign, end spiritual crime, because it is by far the biggest crime syndicate in the world, worse even than that which Pablo Escobar ran when he was still alive, doing his own narco business. It is the biggest crime syndicate in the world, and yet the most unregulated. It is the biggest money launderer in the world. It is the biggest economy crusher, buster in the world. This nation that is South Africa currently has been rated like junk status according to ratings agencies because of the indiscretions on the ground that are going on as a result of the effects or the manifestations of witchcraft. The whole country's economy is choking. Many men and women in politics is the reason why the nation doesn't have electricity for hours on end on any given day. The nation is choking because of Baloyi. It just looks like the indecisiveness or the indiscretion of like just some random irresponsible minister or premier. But no, it starts at a spiritual level. It's like these devils, these entities, principalities over our nations are being fed by the activity on the ground. The Satanist. If this is even worth a while for me to try and pontificate or proliferate or propagate some kind of a revolutionary agenda to fix this thing. I don't know if it's worth my while, or if Christ is going to rescue us all and so therefore establish his millennial reign, and so therefore all witchcraft will be decimated. But my thing is, mara today interview today you have the like go family ya gago. There is no freaking genetic disorder or some kind of hereditary footprint that you can back up going into. Husband. I was listening to this testimony of this one girl online, a South African chick. Like she married some dude, and the mother, she couldn't have a child for years in the marriage. She was busy trying until ultimately family because but intercession on behalf of her. Who manifest a husband of which was manifesting the demons of mewateng. Ke ha a confess that about mewateng o mobofile mpa. Monna na sa tsebe mara. So jwanong ha o nyetse mo family mewateng a batla go foster o tsamaye o lo divorce. Something which is something that Christ hates. Why under heaven is there no stricter regulation over that? Wena go heno. Ha hona history, ha hona auntie one cousin like me. Ha hona nkgono wa khale. No one that struggles. If anything, they keep popping babies like the freaking Kardashians. Go ahead, and yet you're the only one that can't have babies. Genetically, it does not make sense. And happy on 25, so your womb is as healthy, as fertile as you possibly can be. Yet you can't have children. People do that to people. Laba do that to abantu. Guys, why under heaven is there no collective to understand effort by people on the ground who stop nyoko ya batho bana first and foremost kwamele kuthandazwe mara after thapelo ya teng? What needs to happen is a motioning of some kind of like a legal process to put into regulation, like restrainers of what is possible and feasible and can be done. Because ha motho ankile wumbu ya gago o tsele mai and batho ba itse di ritual ka mai banka bikamoso the entire generations worth of wealth from mai ya gago. So ga ba go ntsaitse mai ke madi a shedilweng. It's written in God's word, in the Lord's word, in Jeremiah, and also in the Psalms ukuthi God forms us in our mother's wombs while we're still ka maharampa yamme, meaning that re batho ba feletseng kaofela. So ha satana a ka nka mai a o ka hao unkile batho ba feletseng kaofela. It's like literally human sacrifice at that prolific level. And mosadi ona le mai, from what I understand, are my millions, if not billions. Monna has got these sperms, billions. So ha se jwanong go lo tsaiwa fertility ya monna le mosadi. How many human beings is that the devil gets to spill the blood of? How many? Labantu are committing mass murder, it's genocide, and yet they're getting away with it. There is literally little to no regulation of the stuff, but you know what? Who cares? Who cares what Karabo says and thinks? Ke mangwana le taba of some poor woman o dutseng ko rodipoti ko ntlong ya mme wa gagwe ko morago at 38 as na ke re ntlo. Ngwana batho ha so thole monna ha so nyalwe ha gona next e tsagalang ke tlhalifile ga kana ke bogale. I've got a sharp freaking mind, and yet I'm sitting around gathering dust. I've got uncles and aunts and like cousins, like former friends, etc., like lay random strangers on the street, former colleagues that are sitting on my chest spiritually. And it's obvious. I mean, come on, like what the hell am I doing? Where's a lang situation yaka it's sensei? And yet taking for granted who listen to lazy azibonagale, and so therefore they can get to write me off as crazy. Really crazy? Do I sound like umuntu hlangayo when I am livid at in indiscretion on the ground? According to statistics, some of the most genius people are the ones who deserve the greatest and loftiest amount of justice on the ground. So no, last time I checked, I'm a genius, but like according to these witches, I'm crazy. Why? Because I exposed it, and so for those reasons they have seen it fit to make sure anymore. Caught in the bunch and the knot that I am in, they would be as livid as I am. They would also be as indignant as I am, and yet because they are hypocrites, they imagine that it's okay to go and, like, in all of their futility, wreak this much havoc in a person's life, while in and of themselves they get to survive, escape, overwhelm it when it comes to them. Really? Kanete, bo auntie, bo cousin, my ex-boyfriends, because guys, I am a force to be reckoned with. It doesn't make sense. So what are they trying to do? There is like a whole death curse and freaking operation I can feel. Out of my body. I would never kill myself, mara I keep feeling another year because we're busy chanting lazy granting over impilo yam ngoba ngiyathusa. Lezinja, they start out doing small witchcraft, kodwa when it comes back to catch up with them, to whip them like a freaking boomerang, then they be all of a sudden overnight they become murderers. So I am literally petitioning for never mind prayer, but some kind of freaking regulation to rise up from the ground. Okay, hulo regulator, just how far Lizinja can go, because this is unnecessary, irresponsible, and an innocent woman and a waste of a life. And I'm not the only one. I bet if you add a multiplier to what I am, there would be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that are in my shoes and my predicament. It's worth the while to fight.